Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics and Random. Berto is your host. Thank you so kindly for being a part of the show. We're going to have a great show for you today. You know what? Today is the first day in a long time we'll have no videos. We're going to be talking about some very important stuff. Very important stuff. Well, Build Back Better is Build Back Better, but let's get on hold right now because it is being sabotaged by whom again? We've been sabotaged by those in the middle, those who claim they are looking out for America, and America doesn't want that leftward movement. But somehow, all those things that is in Build Back Better are the things that are supported by over 67% of Americans. What gives? What gives? What gives? Folks, it's time for you to do your job. It's time for us to go out there. It's time for us to make sure that we are heard, right? Because they think you're not listening. They know that they're holding water for the plutocracy. They know that. But folks, you can make that difference. Folks, you have got to make that difference. So let's not forget it. Let's not forget we have work to do. Build Back Better has not been built better yet. Build Back Better may be built shortly, next few weeks they claim. Assuming no senator dies, no Democratic senator dies, assuming Manchin doesn't go back on his word. Remember, some of these senators are 80 something years old. You want to keep holding it back and holding it back till something happens, till Schumer is no longer in control? Is that what they're doing? I mean, we don't know. But I tell you one thing, I know I'm concerned. Welcome aboard, Yvette Avery Herod. Afternoon, PDR Posse, she says. That's our union hero. E2247 says, hello, relatives. Today's visit will be a greatest ever. I just love how you say that every single time, and I believe it every single time. Of course, we have nice to see you back on 4 p.m. I quit Facebook recently, and let me tell you, it's my honor to welcome back our brother of all times, El Senor AVQ, Michael Rutnan, and hey, Norman Reynolds with his normal start. Hey, 1, 2, let's get busy. Rose Williams, how are you doing, my dear beautiful friend? E2247 says Bounty and the Phipps. Why do you say things that I don't know what the hell you're talking about, brother E2247? But I know you're going to teach me sometime. I know you're going to teach me. Tom C, hi all. Charged up after meeting Egberto on Zoom last Saturday. Great conversation, PDR Posse people. Please sign up for the next Zoom meeting with Egberto on December 4th. And you know what? Since I'm honored to have brother Tom C, who reminded us that please, folks, sign up for our Saturday. Every first Saturday in the month, we have a Ask Egberto Anything in which you are the protagonist. And in fact, Tom C was the protagonist this one, and he made it in our newsletter. Tomorrow, I think either tomorrow or the day after, I'm going to be playing the video that we did with Tom C here. Of course, you can see it already online, but for those of you who only watch the live show, Tom C had some prescient statement, and in fact, Tom C is directly responsible for 33% of the program today because we're going to take up that article that he suggested that we all read from David Brooks. So let's give a hat tip to Tom C. Hat tip to Tom C. Tom, we also need to give a hat tip to Charlie Lindahl. Charlie Lindahl brought us the New York Times article about red states and what's all going on out there. So let's make sure and keep our peeps all informed. But like I tell you guys, man, this is your show, right? And you're going to tell us the things that you want us to discuss all of the times. Okay, who else we got here? Tom C. I just called Tom C. Melanie Keelan, welcome aboard. Melanie says, good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody. She says, who else have we got here? Hey, folks, don't forget, if something goes haywire with the voice, I have some special people in the room. All of you are special, but we have some that work closer with the PDR Posse. Remember to text me if there's something wrong with our audio, whatever, in time so that I don't go 5 minutes talking to myself, right? Melanie Keaton, welcome aboard. She says, good evening, everybody. Rose Williams says, Bounty, new Upstander project film. I've got to check it out. Tell us what it's about, Rose. Let us know what it's about. Don't just tell us the name of the film, my dear lady. Tell us what it's about. Anyway, let's get busy. What is the show going to be about today? Let's go ahead and put that baby on the screen. I think I still have that functional. Title of the show is Who Broke America? You'd be surprised. Elon Musk's Twitter stunt is why we need to tax the rich. And it's not just about taxing the rich, it's about they taking more of what we've earned for them. And we've got to take it back. And the way we take it back are right place taxes. Right place taxes for now, till we get into the areas of creating substantial collectives where people rule their own lives. Their own lives. Okay, let's see what we got here. Hey folks, also I want you to help me out. If there are some topics you want me to cover as I go into these subjects today, let me have it. Today was a pretty busy day, taking the baby. Imagine I call my grown daughter my baby, right? But she'll always be my baby. We just signed up for our first major set of outpatient rehabs today, and it was one of those long mornings where we had to go to a lot of places. So I'm a bit tired under the wood, and I am not as prepared as I need to be, but you guys always keep me prepared. So please go ahead, and if you guys have specific items you want to talk about, type it in there, because you know what? It's not only for you and me, it's for all those thousands that are going to be listening on Spotify, that's going to be listening on Anchor.fm, that's going to be listening on Apple TV, and all these other places where the podcast can be heard. So please remember to keep the show exciting. You always do. So let's keep it that way. All right. Topic of the first topic is this one here at the New York Times. U.S. COVID deaths get even redder. I learned something from this article that I didn't know. I always thought the epidemic was much worse in red areas than they were in blue areas. But we have to remember that when it took on New York, that New York went into crisis. And when New York went into crisis, it was really bad. And that did make a huge difference in the numbers. New York being a huge state, it skewed everything. But here's what they said in the article. A 2020 wound down, there were good reasons to believe that the death toll during the pandemic first year might have been worse in red America. There were also good reasons to think it might have been worse in blue America. Conservatives areas tend to be older, less prosperous, and more hostile to mask wearing, all of which can exacerbate the spread or severity of COVID-19. Liberal areas, for their part, are home both to more busy international airports and more Americans who suffer the health consequences of racial discrimination. So as you could see when you went to let's say New York, it was really, really bad for a very long time. Then as they allowed science to take on its role, it got better. Of course, red states never allowed science to be the driving factor, and they paid the price. But it turned out that these differences largely offset each other in 2020. So yeah, the differences offset each other. So the big time travel and all of that made it that New York was just as bad as, let's say, Texas or California or all these other places. But it was only a few percentage points in counties where Donald Trump had won, and at least 60% of the vote in those counties where Joe Biden crossed that threshold. In counties where neither candidate won 60%, the death toll was higher than in either Trump or Biden counties. There simply was not a strong partisan pattern to COVID during the first year that it was circulating in the United States. But then the vaccines arrived, and what happened? And as you can see, those lines tell the story. Then the vaccine arrived, they proved so powerful, and the partisan attitudes toward them so different, that a gap in COVID's death toll quickly emerged. I have covered that gap 2 newsletters. The brief version, the gap in COVID's death toll between red and blue America has grown faster over the past month than at any previous time. What that is telling you is ignorance continue, the promotion of ignorance by those people who follow, for those people who follow those who would harm them, continues. And look at the divergence in the lines. The red line being the Trump voter, the blue line being the Biden voter, and for those who just don't vote, the gray line. Look at that red line. You know, for those people who believe in things like, what is it, Darwin's theory, uh, survival of the fittest, one might say, okay, well, they're not fit to survive if they decide to follow their ignorance, right? And that is a way of weeding out the ignorant out of the population. That is what Darwin's theory would indicate. But remember, those of us that are real progressives, I'm not talking faux progressives here. I'm talking about those of us that are real progressives. We should have none of that. We should be our brother's keepers. We should never relent in trying to get these people to get vaccinated. We should never relent in getting these people to do the right thing and counteracting those people who they trust and have been divided. And I tell you something great. When we convince them that it's the Republicans who murdered their people, when we convince them that it's the GOP who's instituted particular lies that cause the deaths of their loved ones, hey, we may get a few more followers. Because you know what? A lot of people will tolerate a lot till you mess with their kids, their mama, their relatives, their families, their good friends. And then when they realize that you are out to murder them, and worse, those people who are promoting anti-vax methodologies, these people themselves are getting vaxxed. So let's not fall prey to what's going on, brothers and sisters. Okay, let me get back to the chat. See if you guys have anything specific for me. Let's see. We have we have virtual meeting on Tuesday, November 9th from 7 to 8 Central. We'll discuss justice for the 30,000 indigenous people of Ecuador. For those Stephen is still standing in confinement. Rose Williams says, "Go Ashley!" Yes, she's going, and she did well. Texting out, they had to really give her some different texts and so forth. Started doing very well. AVQ says, "Taxing the rich is supported by a super majority of people." It is important that you said that, AVQ. A super majority means you've got a lot of Republicans in the mix. So don't let anybody fool you. Yet Biden took that provision out of the infrastructure bill. Compromise? No. A demonstration of Congress priorities. You just answered your question, ABQ. It's not Biden who had to or wanted to take that out. Look, I give Biden a hard time, but in this case, it's not Biden. It is the fault of two particular senators and a few that are hiding behind them. And that is Sinema and Manchin. Let's not forget it. All right, E2247 says, "Donziger, current imprisonment in the FCI Danbury, U.S. Federal Bureau of Prisons." All right, continuing, we've got, para ver donde está. Lawrence Sims says, "Have you, Egberto Willis, tried to interview the lieutenant governor for Virginia, the Jamaican woman? You know something? I don't know if she listens to my program, she's probably going to give me a hard time, but maybe I could use that I am Caribbean as well to see if I can somehow garner an interview. You know what, Lawrence, brother? It's worth a try, isn't it? Maybe I'll try. I don't know if she's going to agree. Hey, I'm not too far from Virginia right now. Maybe my daughter and myself can drive out there and have a little talk. We'll see. Rose Williams says, red areas are also less populous overall. That is true. The population density is not very high. What are the per capita figures? I don't have the per capita figures. I don't have those. So I know AVQ is about to look them up because he's back. Guess who we've got back? We've got AVQ, one of our researchers that love to put that stuff out. And by the way, AVQ, you didn't start the show the way you normally do. In as much as you are on YouTube, I am sure you can narrow a lot of that down to the 250 something character restrictions, right? Or is it 300 characters? I don't remember. Anyway, Eric Hayes says, "Why does the administration and the same ilk think this crap is funny? People are struggling because of the policy decisions, and all you can do is laugh and pass it off. Keep up the bad work, and I hope karma comes back." All right, and the Federalist.com. I don't support or read anymore anything from the Federalist because again, it's a hack of a paper. But that's my opinion, but it's a calculated opinion. And by the way, I would like Eric Hayes to state specifically what particular policy from the Biden administration that is currently in effect that has caused any of the problems we're having today. I can name you quite a few of Donald Trump's policies that are in effect having our issues today. I'd like you to enumerate that instead of regurgitating right-wing misinformation that makes you not seem very smart, in as much as I know you're a very smart person. Rose Williams says, is it still unacceptable? It is still unacceptable, yes. Yvette Avery says, welcome back, Michael Rudnin. We love Michael Rudnin and we love that he's back. Well, it's not that he's back, it's that we moved. And Michael sent me a note and says, when you move back to 4, let me know. I'll be there. And you know what? To his word, he's back. Eric Hayes, time for the blame game? No, time for the truth game. Norman Reynolds says there is no liberal media. Exactly, Norman. The decision by AT&T to create OAN is more proof that it is not a corporation best interest to support what is best for most human beings. It's supporting independent media like this program. Thank you for the plug, my dear brother Reynolds. The best answer, how can this be enough to reach the folks that have already believed that both parties are the same? I want to hit up on that. First of all, I didn't ask Norman for the kudos, okay? Independent media like this. But I will absolutely take it, and not only take it, but reiterate it. Here's the deal. All the mainstream media, they have a job to do. They try to do the best that they can. But if all the pharmaceutical companies are advertising with them and that the bulk of their money comes from pharmaceuticals, oil companies, hospitals, etc., 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 they have to be careful what their news departments are going to do as far as putting out the data. So, one person, I think it was Daniel Ledo said, why are you regurgitating stuff from MSNBC, CNN, and sometimes Fox News? You're just using somebody else's material. Yes, I'm using somebody else's material to show that they use the material and without the proper context, ill-inform, misinform the American people. What I do is I frame many times correcting or amplifying what they're saying. And the actual purpose for that is exactly what Norman is implying. That AT&T created OAN is a problem. And until we understand these features very well, there will be a problem. There will be a problem. So Norman, thanks for the kudos. And since you gave the kudos at the 20-minute mark, I am going to try to get some of my brothers and sisters here to say, hey, if you are on YouTube right now, please click that join button and become a part of the PDR Posse. If you do it right now and I see it in the feed, I'll go ahead and highlight you on our screen. If you are on YouTube, or rather if you are on Facebook Live or Twitch, or if you are on any one of our other networks, please as well go ahead and visit politicsdoneright.com/YouTube. I put it in the feed. politicsdoneright.com/ whoops, where is it? Where is it at? Right there. politicsdoneright.com/YouTube. Alternatively, you can also support us at Patreon, and I need a lot of supporters. I'm going to give a quick explanation of that in a little bit. politicsdoneright.com/Patreon, Patreon, and of course we take PayPal. politicsdoneright.com/PayPal. Please consider getting our books at politicsdoneright.com/books. I promise you will learn from the books, and you can, and not only learn from the books, but let's say there's something in that book you disagree with. Come on to Politics Done Right and challenge me. I love it. That's how we interchange and have different opinions, etc., etc., etc. So please consider getting my book, politicsdoneright.com AVQ.com/books. And likewise, if you want to get, it's getting cold, get those hoodies, get those hats, etc. politicsdoneright.com/store. And you can find every single way of supporting us at this current time by going to politicsdoneright.com/support. Folks, why do we need support? This is how we do it. The right wing sends out millions of messages every day in that right wing fascist space. So when somebody goes ahead and look up, should we tax the rich? Google tries to find the best stories that goes with that search. What Politics Done Right and other operations do, I don't just do a program where I put my face on screen. I also write books, articles for not only the web, but for newspapers. You can see some of my newspaper articles as well. I write articles for Daily Kos, Op-Ed News. I just reintegrated my Medium since my daughter is on Medium now, so I decided to join Medium. Started activating Medium again. But when we populate those other spaces with progressive, truthful information, they form a part of the mix, and Americans can then see sensible, truthful information right against the false, misleading crap that gets people killed. So we do that every day. I create anywhere from 3 to 5 videos, blog posts, articles, that sort of a thing. And that's what, when you support Politics Done Right, you're supporting us seeding the internet with the truth to counteract the lies that come from the right wing. So please go ahead and remember to continue supporting us either by going ahead and clicking that join button on YouTube, or going to politicsdoneright.com/YouTube, politicsdoneright.com/Patreon, Patreon spelled Patreon, etc. So that's the reason why we ask. Okay, let me continue with my dear friends here on the on what you're writing here. Let's go ahead and continue that. Para ver qué más tenemos aquí. Let's see. AVQ says 200 character posting stuff is pointless. Well, it's there are other ways to do it, AVQ. There are I think there are places where you can actually print a synopsis with a link to something that gets it done. All right, let's continue here. Para ver. Every case. Why does the administration do the same thing? I think I tackled that one already. Tom C says, Big Bird tweeted, I get the COVID-19 vaccine today. AVQ think 200 characters is just not worth it. Let's see what else we've got. We've got Eric Hayes, whatever they are laughing at. I got that already. Overall, we rate the Federalist question and far-right bias based on story selection and editorial positions that always favor the right. Exactly. The Federalist questionable and far right. Exactly. And by the way, if you take a look at the rating for Politics Done Right and EgbertoWillies.com, independent organizations rate us as left, but very truthful and very honest. So we have a rating nationally as well. Check it out. I should put it on the screen sometime. Anyway, promotion of propaganda, conspiracy theories, and humorous failed fact checks. That is how you define the Federalists easily. OSHA and the mandates are going to give the administration issues. Really? Wow. You're really into those right-wing media, isn't it? AVQ, for those who read known bad sources such as the Federalist, they're probably worse informed than those who read no news at all. When you swallow disinformation from known liars, that's how it goes. Exactly. When you follow the known liars, that is exactly what you can expect. Thank you for putting that out, AVQ. Eric Hayes says some good news here. What's the good news? You have to write a little something and not just put a link. Daniel Adose, this is Egberto rationalizing his plagiarism and lazy reporting. Really lazy reporting. Oh, wow. Man, if you ever know how much work it took to do all of this, you wouldn't call it lazy reporting, brother, but that's okay. That's okay. AVQ, if anyone can see the MBFC link above, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to assume YouTube auto-deletes all links. I don't think I saw that link, AVQ. So I tried again. I tell you what to do. It's the best way to do it, AVQ. If you can't get a link to go to bit.ly and bit.ly the link. I don't think AVQ is going to go through that not next step of indirection. So do a bit.ly on the link if somehow it doesn't pass through, and we'll generally get it to our people. IVQ says Daniel Ledo, citing sources and then rebutting their info. That's not plagiarism. Exactly. Rick Hayes, if someone disagrees with you, you attack them as being wrong, which is a pretty funny. Really, everyone has an opinion, and that is exactly what you have here, right or wrong. Okay. Is water H2O an opinion or a fact? H2O is the definition, is a chemical makeup, is the elemental makeup of water. H2O. There's no argument about it. It's not an opinion. It's a fact. Did January 6th occur? Did right-wing terrorists try to overthrow our government on January 6th? Did they break glass, kill people, and all that sort of stuff on January 6th? Yes. Not opinion. Fact. Does supply side economics fail because you can't create supply absent demand being what people want? It's not only a fact, it's been proven out with reality of what has occurred under Reaganomics. So what I speak about, if I have an opinion, I will tell you it's an opinion. But most of what I'm talking about here are facts, not opinions. Facts. And facts are irrefutable. They're not two different sides of a fact. A fact is a fact is a fact. AVQ says, I remember one of many reasons why I quit Facebook. Trying to converse with the brainwash is waste of everyone's time. Results is repeated. This again, what I do now in my conversations is what I said in the book. I ask them questions, and what usually happens is one of two things. They start to give you your own answers in a different form, but agreeing with you, or they get so frustrated for answering the questions and realizing that they're going to come out in the same place that you are, that they leave the conversation. Get my book, How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors. While it won't work with some of folks in the room that are simply here as what I would call calculated trolls, it works with a lot of people, and I've given examples in the book where it actually has come to pass, has worked quite well. So check it out, brothers and sisters. Check it out. All right, Tom C says, Big Bird tweaked. I got the COVID-19 vaccine today in response to Ted Cruz tweeted, government propaganda for your 5-year-old. Maybe Big Bird should give the big turd a middle finger. Big Bird, I agree. AVQ, Lee Grant says that sarcasm, but if we're to brother check in this FB wall, I'd probably find a dozen shares from conspiracy mills straight out of the right-wing bubble. Agreed. Eric Hayes, far left would say, I don't care what you call it, not call it. And a truth can't be yours or mine. A truth has to be ours. Don't forget that. Truth is not yours or mine. Truth is ours. And until you realize that truity, you will get nowhere. But it is something that you have got to realize, because it is very, very important that you do. That you do. Okay, folks. Continuing, let's see what we got here. Para ver. We have good news. Maybe check. Oops, I missed that one altogether. All right, Peggy Lopez says, hi all. Just in time to hear that it is okay for me to be wrong as well as it is okay for me to be right. Oh, Peggy, that is so funny. AVQ Egberto, did you see either of my linked posts? I'm scrolling down and I don't think so, but I tell you, hold up a second. I'm going to scroll back up to see if somehow I missed it. Maywood says, hello from Long Beach. And Eric Hayes, your truth is biblical. Oh boy. Whew, Lord, my friend. Okay, AVQ, no links of yours have come over that I've seen. No links, no links came over, AVQ. No links came over. I don't know why. What I can do is look, let me go, I tell you what I'm going to do, AVQ. I'm going to look directly on the Facebook channel to see if they actually deleted something. If it says deleted, and if it says deleted in the channel itself, what I will do is I'll let it pass. Because what happens sometimes is they'll give the moderator the option, that's the wrong thing, the option to actually make things come through. So we'll get there. Bear with me 1 second. Let's see if that is possible. Let's see if that is possible for us to get done for you. Let's see. Para ver, let's go ahead. Because I know if you're putting some links there, you're going to be some pretty cool links. All right, let's see if I see it in the raw feed. Maybe that it was not allowed. Okay, I don't see it in the raw feed. Yeah, actually I do see it in the raw feed. Okay, yeah, it apparently it blocked some of yours. Yeah, I'm looking for at least it blocked one that I've seen thus far. Okay. Anyway, let's go to the other story. Let's go to the other story, and then we'll be able to move on from there. Para ver, 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 para ver. Okay. Let me get to the story. How the Bobos Broke America. David Brooks wrote an interesting article, and apparently this article came out back in, I think it came out in August, right? And Tom, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it came out in the New York Times in August, and I think it might have recently come out at the Atlantic. Anyway, I'm reading it from the Atlantic. It says, "How the Bobos Broke America," and I'm going to give you a gist of this, right? Many a times, you would find that liberals think that they are the writers of color, writers and editors of color. I was a speaker at that group this weekend, and they were asking about my books, and I explained to them that I had a book called How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors, and I believe in speaking to everybody. I mean, people on the right, people on the left, people in the middle, people that are anarchists, communists, whatever. I said I'm going to be nice and friendly to everybody. And I said it's interesting because we like to promote a false fact that somehow the right is racist and the left is pure. And it is not. And I gave the story, I think I told the story in the book. If not, I've told it somewhere else, where I went to a tea party. I was invited by the Tea Party in the early, what was it, in the 2010 or something like that, to a honky tonk bar in West Houston. And when I went in there with flags and all that, you know what kind of flags they have hanging and that kind of stuff. And I go into the club and I have a whole group of people come and they greet me. I did a few interviews with Daniel Boone's descendants, right? Daniel Boone, the grandfather, the son, and the grandson. And, one was completely anti-Medicare, and it was a whole thing. But they wanted to show me that the Tea Party was not a racist organization, and I got the best treatment one could ever imagine. They tried to feed me. I didn't really want to eat. They tried to give me drinks. I don't drink. They did all those things, but we had great conversation. And I tell you one other thing. Some of the things that I said actually stuck because I'm an engineer by trade. And this guy was designing a printer that needed some software, a particular kind of rasterization software that he knew that I could do. And he called me up after and he said, "Hi, how would you like to form a partnership to do that?" At the time, I couldn't. I was already making that transition from Willie's Computer Software Company to all out political activism. But it just shows you that there was a certain amount of reality that came out there. And again, I got very good treatment. Now let's fast forward to every single Netroots that I go to. Netroots is the is the largest progressive organization. We meet every year. We're thousands of us, bloggers, writers, politicians, meaning from Ocasio-Cortez to Ilhan Omar to Schumer. All of them are there, and we are all rubbing shoulders with. In fact, you see me interview quite a few of them on Radio Row, where I do my Radio Row every year there. I have not felt the place that I've felt the most racism against me, or the most invisibility against me, was at a progressive organization. And I wrote a story at Daily Kos where I explained that a lot of people got pissed, progressives got pissed at me for saying it, but it was the truth. Some of the worst treatment I got was there. In fact, I told a story about when Black Lives Matter came in to interrupt Bernie Sanders. We had people, we stood behind a table where a progressive older guy wrote a text saying, "I have never been so scared in my life." These Black Lives Matter people just came in, jumped on the stage to prevent Bernie from talking, unless Bernie was to say, "I am going to add those issues to the agenda." And had they not done that night, and it was, you could watch it on MSNBC, ABC, CBS, anywhere. That night, it was in Arizona. That night, Bernie changed his entire speech to more than 15,000 people that night to include the platform, the Black Lives Matter platform that we presented to him. I was actually an independent media person there, but that BLM presented to him that day. So when I went outside after they came and did their thing, I started to interview people. Everybody, whoever was passing, I interviewed. And I saw this group of folks, right? I think it was like 4 white guys and a white girl. And I looked and I said, "Hey, what do you guys think about what occurred in the room, in the big ballroom, you know?" And they didn't want to. They said, "Well, you know, we don't want. I don't want to talk about it." And so I kept on prodding and so forth. "What you thought about it? You think was?" And then the white girl said, "Oh, I want to talk about it. I want to talk about it. I'll talk to you about it." And then I went ahead and got the camera and all of that. And one of the white guys says, "Yeah, go ahead, go be his token white girl." And my eyes really opened up, because we were supposed to be on the same team, right? We are on the same team. And here's this young lady, she wants to talk. And her interview was great. She was saying like, "Yeah, it's overdue and we need to do these kinds of things. And I understand what BLM is doing and I support the movement and all of that." These guys wanted to have nothing to do with it. And likewise, when I'm on Radio Row at Netroot Nations, I interview over 50 people every time I go there. Over 50 people get interviews. I would have some of the prima donnas on my left and on my right that may do 10, right? And when it's time for the spotter is the person who goes ahead and find a politician or whatever to bring them to Radio Row. I have to remind them after they give one of the prima donnas, one of, let's say, a quote unquote big name. I like to interview everybody, meaning the little activists, the big activists, everybody. I interview absolutely everybody, because everybody deserves a voice. When it comes to getting that, bringing those people over, they will give first tips to a lot of the prima donnas, right? So I got pissed one time. And this one was in, I think it was New Orleans. When the governor, you remember that woman from Sex and the City was running, they didn't, they brought her to TYT, and they brought her to Majority Report. Majority Report was on one side, TYT on the other side, and they didn't bring her to me. So while she's walking off, I called her out. I don't remember her name, but she was a woman in Sex and the City who ran for governor of New York. And I called her out. I said, "Hey, come and give me an interview. They just gave you these two, but this is a real one." And she just, her handler, kind of looked at me funny and was pulling her off. And she turned around, Cynthia Nixon. And Cynthia Nixon turned around, came, sat down in my chair and said, "Let's talk." Just like that, she said, "Let's talk." And we started to talk, and we had a much better interview than either TYT, Majority Report, or any one of them did. Look up Cynthia Reports at Politics, Cynthia Nixon at politicsdoneright.com. Check out the interview that we did. It was a great, nice, flowing interview. So like I said, this article rang very much to me. Now, I don't particularly like everything that David Brooks writes because David Brooks he's a moderately conservative guy that has been seeing the light lately. But here's what he's saying is the problem with, in effect, Democrats, we've been talking about this a long time. You guys have been talking with us for a long time. Democrats seem to have forgotten how to sell what they believe in. And they have created their own segregated system. When I say Democrats, I'm talking about elite progressives, not the rank and file Democrats. I'm talking about elite progressives who set the message for us. Because it is impossible for any of us to believe that given how good our what we support is all about, given how good it is, how in God's name don't rural America love what we have to offer? Or they like to say, oh, it's a culture game, or it's a culture whatever. No, it's not. The culture wars. It's the culture wars. It's not the culture wars. It's that we don't sell progressive values because the elite in our party itself, many times consider the progressive mantra a threat to the elitist Democrats because they no longer will stand on their pedestal in an equitable society. And that is the magic that we have to start realizing. Some of our own enemies would prefer a loss than a true equitable society. They would prefer us to lose the Congress than for us to pass not only Medicare for all, than for us to pass true family leave, than for us to pass all those things that many would like to call socialism. They would rather lose because at that point in time, the elitist of every party no longer owns that medallion for life. Because now the cream can really flow up from the crop. Now that cream can really flow to the top. Right now we submerge a hell of a lot of cream. We submerge a lot of good people who know stuff. So the David Brooks article in a nutshell says the following. And then you guys please read it. And there's a hat tip to Thomas Sarnick, a hat tip. He's the one who turned me on to the article. So please read it. But the bottom line on the article is the progressives in effect, and not only progressive, but the elite class, the maker class, I think he called it the bobo class. What is it? The bobos class. They've created their own gravity that they want to live under. So, folks, let's understand that and give some kudos to brother Tom for bringing that up. And I want you guys to go read that article. I have it linked in the blog. Please read the article that we have out there. All right, let me get back to the boards and see if I have any. Whoa, wow, you guys are great. Let's see. Peggy Lopez says, hi all, just in time to hear that it's not okay. I read that one. Egberto, did you see either? I didn't go to the link because, as you know, I was talking. ABQ, hey, Egberto, are you streaming to Twitch? Yes, I'm streaming to Twitch. Yes, sir. So you can go get an account at Twitch and maybe you can get longer messages out. I didn't think about telling you that. But yeah, you can go to Twitch and because we're streaming from Twitch as well. Lee Grant, the truth is absolute. Narrative or like a H-less. Okay, you're going to have to help me out there, Lee Grant. Love you, but you got to help me out there. There's no point talking on here. There's no point. ABQ, Egberto, you can fix that setting after the show. Yeah, I got to figure out how to do it to make sure that everything goes through. I don't know what that is to tell you the truth, how that works, etc., etc., etc. But we'll figure that out. YouTube auto deletes comments with links. Oh, okay, that's what you're saying. I didn't realize it, but I'll check it out. Let's see what else we've got here. We've got Let's see. Para ver, para ver, para ver. Maywood says, okay, so what's a bobo? I'm thinking I should know, but Egberto, can you see me on here? Yes, I can. Twitch in. AVQ. AVQ is on Twitch. I can see you. There's a segment of the progressive movement that doesn't prioritize remedying systemic racism as one of their most important issues. You get it, brother? Everett Hart says, cool, you have to handle your business. Let's see, AVQ. Cynthia Nixon would have made a great governor, should have won. Instead, we got Cuomo again, and you know how that went. Linda Jo Kensinger. Hey, everyone. Peggy Lopez says, throughout my 50 plus years of being involved with left wing organizations, I have been treated with disdain, condescension, contempt, and disregard because of gender and nationality, the self blind. Peggy, when I was at that meeting at the, again, it was the writers and editors of color. And when I made that statement, I thought I was going to get a lot of pushback from that statement, right? Because again, I was among a whole lot of, yeah, they were black and Latinos that are editors and writers. And I thought I was going to get a whole lot of pushback. And one of them sent a tweet out that says, what I said is something he wanted to say for a very long time. And and now that you are saying it, Peggy, it's a necessary truth. David Brooks is an enemy of the progressive cause. He will not blame the GOP and will always try to control our actions and not those of the hate-filled school board threatening the GOP. I agree, but you know, a clock is always right at least twice a day, right? A dead clock, that is. Let's see what else we have here. Eric Hayes says, selling power plays at the local policy store near you come. I don't understand that. All right, let's continue. AVQ says, well, I see my comments on Twitch going through. Egberto, can you see the whole of my comment on or only the first 200 characters? Let me see what I see for you on AVQ. AVQ, it ended, the commentary that you gave ended with the word issues, and it seems like it was the whole commentary that came across. What you may want to do is put a paragraph of, let's say, 300 characters, and then I'll check that out for you. All right, let's continue here. AVQ says, well, I see my comments on Twitch go through. Yes. Bobo refers to bourgeoisie, bohemian. I should have said that, you know. A lot of people think bobos meaning bozos, but no, you're right. It's bourgeoisie, bohemian, a member of the elite upper to upper middle class with 1960s new left countercultural values who criticize wealthy elites while sharing much of their lifestyle. True. Late to the party, Deb Denny. You're late, Deb. Where have you been, Deb? Why are you showing up at when we are almost? No, I'm kidding, Deb. You know I can't. Look, I'm just honored that people are here. You would never hear me complain that somebody is late. If you're giving me the honor to be here, the least I can be is completely and entirely thankful and respectful. Daniel Nadeau says, do you support a vax mandate for every business in America, regardless of size? In my case, if I were president, the answer is simple. Yes. Do I support every single person who works for a small business, every single person who works for a large business to have a driver's license and an insurance card? I think we require that. Did they make a distinction to say, okay, we're not going to restrict small businesses with having to have their customers have their employees have a driver's license, right? So why would I restrict, or for having a chickenpox vaccine? So why should I restrict anything otherwise? All right, Daniel AVQ says, those who use Marxist language tend to be talking specifically to those in the know while alienating everyone else. Avoid doing so if you want your message to spread. True, AVQ. I'll be watching from Twitch from now on. This seems a better solution than YouTube. I'm gonna be heading out a few minutes early. See ya mañana. AVQ, thank you very much. See you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow I may be I'll be live, yes, but I'll partially be probably live streaming because I think we may have an appointment tomorrow. I don't think she got it changed to not conflict with Politics Done Right. But whatever the case is, we have a show for you every single day. What I may do is just play a show while I follow the comments elsewhere. So, folks, you know how that goes. All right, one last time, folks, if you are on YouTube, please click that join button to become a part of our YouTube or Politics Done Right posse. Alternatively, Ashley comes first, says Rose Williams. Tú sabes que eso es la verdad. That's the truth. Ruth? Daniel Edose and Egberto's tyranny shows its ugly face. Sad. I am my tyranny. My tyranny. Did you call the invaders of our capital, the ones who killed the cops, the ones who left feces on the ground, the ones who ran the rotunda with a Confederate flag, the one who broke glasses, the ones who beat up on police officers with American flags? Did you call them tyrannous? Did you call them terrorists? Did you call them evil? I doubt that. But you're looking at somebody who believes in peace. Somebody who wants us all to get along. Somebody who wants to get along with you, Mr. Ledo. I am the tyrannous one. I am the terrorist. Wow. Amazing. Al Rose. Yes, Ashley does come first. Primera. Folks, I need to tell you, my posse is all over. I grew up in Panama with Al Rose. Al Rose and his wife came over this weekend to visit my daughter Ashley. Al Rose brought us some good food and we had good conversation. I hadn't seen Al in 15 years. He realized that we were going to be in Washington, D.C. at the same time. And he said, Egberto, is your daughter up for company? I asked my daughter, hey, babe, are you up for company? She said, yes. He came over. He brought us some food, some good conversation, and a little bit of what's the word? Something that I needed. Not detoxifying, but decompensation that I needed. Muchas gracias. That I needed. Deb Denny, thank you for all you do for us and for your family. Thank you, Deb Denny, for being here. Tom C says, is the Building Back Better bill dead now since Biden signed it? No, it's not. No, it's not. They know without the Build Back, Biden's administration is over. If we don't get at least $1.5 trillion, more than likely 1.75. Decompression as well, Deb Demney, thank you. I love my peeps. De-stress, that too. I love you guys, man. Linda Jo Kessinger, to you and your family, love. Thank you. May Wood says, Lee Grant, you may be conservative, but I don't believe you are that far right. Lee Grant, look, all our right-wingers, including Daniel Ledo, I know Daniel Ledo personally. Daniel Ledo is not a bad guy at all. I mean, he'll cuss me out. He'll call me all the names in the world. He wants me to be pissed at him. He wants me to want his throat so he has a reason to hate me, but he can't. And you know why he can't? Because I am not going to foment that which is necessary to generate hate. So you can try hard, Daniel Ledo. It ain't going to happen. All right? It ain't going to happen. All right, guys. We are coming up close to the end of the show. I want you to remember to please click that join button. If you click that join button. If you want to become a part of our PDR posse by helping us out, we need you. Click that join button. If you can't click that join button or you don't see one or you are on a different platform, please go ahead and click politicsdoneright.com/YouTube. politicsdoneright.com/YouTube. Alternatively, we also need several Patreons. Patreon. politicsdoneright.com/Patreon. politicsdoneright.com/Patreon. And you know who else we love his payment methodology. We don't like his politics. politicsdoneright.com/PayPal. I don't like PayPal guy too good at all. It's not a good guy. But support us via PayPal this week. politicsdoneright.com/PayPal. Get that hoodie in these times of cool weather. politicsdoneright.com/store. You can get our books, everything at that link, our store. And of course, if you want to get our books at Amazon, our voiceovers, we have Norman who did one of our books, the voice for one of our books. Thank you, Norman. Bruce Pollard did one of the editing for one of our books. So we are all a collaborative effort. politicsdoneright.com/books to get our books. And to find out all the different ways to support us, politicsdoneright.com/support. politicsandright.com. So support. Folks, you have places that you can go. You have places that you can be. You don't have to be here with Politics Done Right. You could be anywhere. The fact that you are here with me, I am honored. I respect it. I want to give a couple of announcements. Very important announcement. I am proud to announce we do 5 days a week, Monday through Fridays at 3 Central on the internet. YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook Live, and all these other places we go live on stream. But every Thursday at noon Eastern, 11 Central, every day at noon Central on Thursdays on noon Central, we are on air in Houston on Pacifica Network, and other stations pick us up around the country as well. So at noon, we also have a program. Well, I'm honored to say that we now also have Fridays at 11 Central that I was just awarded. So now we have 2 hours on a 100,000 watt station on air, KPFT 90.1 FM. I'm honored that our new directors have found it fit to provide that extra time to give Politics Done Right some more time to speak the truth to all our people. So those of you in Houston can tune in right away. And those of you that are not in Houston can also get that program in at kpft.org, kpft.org. So we continue with our live streaming 5 days a week, but 2 days a week. We also have other programming that Politics Done Right does at kpft.org. Tell your people about it. Check out kpft.org. Check out Politics Done Right on KPFT. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And you guys know how I end this baby. I end it just like this. I am what? Out. We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number 1, subscribe to our channel. And number 2, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.